inside the environmental chamber is kind of nicknamed the torture chamber. My job is to make sure that no one is comfortable.
Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're going to Antarctica. Woo! So here's the deal. We're going down to Antarctica, and we're gonna run a 10-kilometer loop in the ice and snow for 24 hours straight. The race is only set for 100 kilometers. That didn't sound as fun as 100 miles, so we talked to the race directors. They're gonna let us keep running for an entire 24 hours. So Rob and I are just gonna start running and see how far we can get in 24 hours. Nobody has run 100 miles in under 24 hours in Antarctica yet. And Rob and I are gonna go get cold. Hace frío. So we're in Gore's biophysics lab here in Elkton, Maryland. So I haven't seen the chamber yet, but they're gonna throw me in a chamber. They can simulate basically any weather condition on Earth. They said like 95% of the weather. They can get this chamber down to, I think, like -50, wind, rain, heat, whatever. So we're gonna start testing some of the layering for our next adventure.
We have really three main facets here. We have the bench top area that we're standing in now. I have a rain tower and then an environmental chamber. It's always fun being on this side of the wall. Inside the environmental chamber has been kind of nicknamed the torture chamber or raised medieval dungeon. Yeah, my job is to make sure that no one is truly comfortable. I try to put people to the limit because you don't know when you're comfortable. You only know when you're uncomfortable.
Take note of how the treadmill looks right now, because I'm gonna wear my winter spikes on this. Ray told me he wants a new treadmill, so he's okay if I destroy it. We're getting dressed to go into the chamber right now. Let's start with some base layers, making sure the movement feels good, and then I think they're gonna start trying to crank the temperature down a little bit. And the goal is to see what the layering looks like without sweating. Because if we sweat at all, we're gonna have a bad day, because that means we're gonna freeze to death. So the goal is to be cold the entire time without sweating. First test coming up. It's only 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit. We're gonna kind of test out the flow of everything and then get some shots, and we start dropping the temperature down. So we got all of our gear laid out. Try to find the layer combinations that's gonna work well for us without sweating. We don't want to sweat. So we're starting to crank up the wind right now. Antarctica is going to be very windy and very bright. Cranked up the wind. I think they're going to make it a lot brighter in here so that we can try to simulate this as best we can. I have no idea what the treadmill is saying because the light is so bright in here. We got bubbles right now to make it look like snow. I keep swallowing bubbles. Alright, I gotta block the bubbles when I talk. So, we got the bubbles going to kind of simulate snow right now. We got the lights cranked up. It's gonna be bright in Antarctica. We're gonna play around a little bit. We'll probably shut the lights off, turn the headlamps on, get some cool shots, and then once we're done with the bubble testing, we're going to start really dropping the temperature, and that's when the fun will begin, because it's gonna get cold very fast.
I've been working, going hard, it turns out they've been hurting, but it's mine is no doubt. My moment is now, I've seen the 7 seas. My moment is now, no distant memory. I've been working, going hard, it turns out they've been hurting, but it's mine is no doubt.
So many bubbles on that simulated snow. I'm still coughing. Yeah, we did about 5K. So they're gonna start dropping the chamber temperature. We just couldn't do the bubble and snow simulation, obviously if it's below freezing. So we're gonna drop temperature. I'm gonna try to cool off a bit because I'm sweating so bad right now. And then we'll start testing with the colder temps. Well, the temperature has gone down. I think this is -5, -6 Fahrenheit. We're not going any lower because otherwise Michael's camera is going to die. So we're gonna get some shots here at this temp, and then once we're done getting some footage, we're just gonna start plummeting the temperature for Rob and I, and we'll see how we do.
Yeah, so Paul and Rob were trying to experience what they're going to be putting themselves through in Antarctica in a couple weeks. We made it nice and cold in there. We started off around freezing, dropped it down to about -22 Fahrenheit to let them experience what they're going to feel when they're going through their runs. Hopefully they've figured out what the best layering configuration will be for them when they're down there. Rob was learning really quick that not going to need the bulky insulations that he thought he was going to be. Like, thinner the layers, the better to keep that sweat off your body, keep your insulation dry. Is really important because when you do stop running, that insulation needs to be dry to keep you warm.
If I put a black background on it, this all iced over, and then right in the back here, I was only looking through my right eye in the bottom. So I just gotta make sure I have a good mask seal, otherwise that moisture just ices over. And then every lap's gonna take us about an hour and a half to do. So then we can swap masks every lap, let the one pair thaw out, so when we come back around, we just keep rotating masks. That might be what we have to do.
Not only is that aesthetically more appealing to have water beating up off your jacket and rolling off, it also provides a thermal benefit as well because the water's not soaking into the face fabric. There's that water soaking into the face fabric, you're going to lose a lot more heat on that side a lot faster than you will where the DWR is just rolling off.
So we're done playing in the cold, now we're just going to have some fun with the rain. I think that's set up to 3 inches an hour or something like that. So nothing I've ever experienced in my life. And they said as long as there's no user error, aka me and Rob, we will be dry. We got the Concurve on, as well as the Endure pants, I believe. So these are exactly what I wore for Transcon. And then the shoes are new. These are the ones I'm going to race in for Antarctica with the tips on the bottom. But these are completely waterproof as well. So we're going to see how dry Rob's feet are versus my feet.
Really quite wet. We're very, very shocked.
As always, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be pushing out even more information about Antarctica. It's going to be a pretty wild adventure, and if you want to see me and Rob suffer together and probably have to cuddle for warmth in a sleeping bag in a tent in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica, you're not going to want to miss this.